Sarah here, and welcome to Fast Friday FAQs, where I answer your questions about intermittent fasting and flexible dieting. Today, I'm going to answer the million-dollar question: when should you eat your carbs? So let's go to the whiteboard. Now, we've all been taught the front-end loading theory, which is to eat your carbs in the morning and the afternoon, but not at night, because the theory is that you're going to burn off the carbs during the day, and then if you eat carbs at night, you're going to store fat. Well, that's a bunch of bull roar and rubbish, and that's the whole reason why we're doing today's tutorial. So the other option is to eat your carbs at night. Why? Why is this a good thing? Because, oh my gosh, it goes against everything we have been taught. Now, from an evolutionary standpoint, humans are inherently programmed to be night eaters. Think about it. Our Paleolithic ancestors were hunting and gathering all day the food, and then they would eat their meal at night, which probably explains why so many of us come home from a long day of work and we sit down and we just eat and we eat and we eat and we eat. Does that sound like you? Well, then listen up, because this tutorial might change your game. Number 2 is another reason why we shouldn't panic about eating our carbs at night. Our insulin sensitivity and glucose tolerance are not impaired at night, so everybody needs to just simmer down. Pot roast. Number 3, lean individuals have sleeping metabolic rates that are actually higher than their resting metabolic rates. So that means you can still burn off your carbs when you're sleeping. And last but not least, number 4, I have a study for you to help you stop thinking that carbs at night will suddenly cause all of the unicorns to die. So there was a 2011 study in the Journal of Obesity, and they investigated the different responses to carb intake during the day compared to carb intake just at night. So there were 2 groups. We had the all-day carbers, and we had the nighttime carbers, and the nighttime carbers were fed 80% of their carbs at night. Now, what was interesting is the nighttime carbers actually lost more weight and more body fat than the all-day carbers who had, carbs titrated into their body morning, noon, and night. What's also interesting is the nighttime carbers reported better satiety. Why is that? Well, because we know that carbs are the only macronutrient that can boost your leptin levels. So if you titrate all your carbs in at night, boom, your leptin levels will be boosted, which is great news for fasters, because the next day when you wake up, you're going to have better satiety during your fast. Now, the reason why the nighttime carbers lost more weight than the all-day carbers is that they had lower insulin levels. Why? Well, because their insulin secretion was at its highest only one time at nighttime. Compare that to the all-day carbers who were titrating carbs into their body all day long. They were having constantly elevated levels of insulin. Now, the problem with having your insulin levels chronically elevated is that, well, for starters, you're not going to be burning fat. The other issue is that because you're putting carbs into your body every few hours, what that does is it suppresses your body's endogenous glucose production, which explains why your body is craving carbs every 2 to 3 hours. That's why you're always hungry. So for all the people out there who are like, oh, I can't do fasting, I can't just eat at night, I'm going to be so hungry. Well, yeah, you are going to be hungry because that's all you know, because you're used to eating all the time and you trained your body to be hungry every 2 to 3 hours. You'll be pleasantly surprised when you finally start fasting and the hunger goes away. What? Is your body actually producing its own glucose? The other issue with having chronically elevated levels of insulin is that this is associated with chronic inflammation, insulin resistance, diabetes, stroke, heart disease, and even cancer. So it turns out that the very paradigm that has been preached to us for years, which is to eat morning, noon, and night, well, it turns out that that's not preventing disease. It's actually causing disease. So the moral of the story is that you're further ahead having most of your carbs at one time during the day. And for the average person, it's better to do it at night, because from an evolutionary standpoint, that's just the way we are programmed. Now, if you want to take this to the next step, then I encourage you to try intermittent fasting. All you have to do is stop eating probably around 8 o'clock at night, go to bed, you're fasting all throughout the night. The next day you just skip breakfast and try eating maybe around 11 in the morning or noon. So that way you're going to benefit from having fat burning actually happening because your insulin levels will be low enough, and you'll also get the health benefits. So if you enjoyed this tutorial, please do hit that like button, leave me a comment, let me know if you're going to try skipping breakfast tomorrow morning. Please click up here to subscribe so you won't miss any more fasting episodes, and please do share this video with a friend. Increase your accountability. You can try this together. So for more information about fasting, please sign up for my free intermittent fasting tutorials. You can just click the link below me. That's startfastingtoday.com. Peace out.